All right, welcome everyone. Going to give folks a few moments to join, and then we will do a quick introduction today. All right, looks like we've got a good amount of folks jumping in. So thank you so much everyone for joining today for Security Door Solutions, Elegant Defenses for Modern Spaces. We're joined today by Hunter Payton from the Ballistic Glass and Armor team. He's going to be giving today's presentation. So thank you, Hunter, so much for joining us today. And before we get started with today's course, I'm going to give a quick little introduction about Acelab and give you guys some information about what to expect after today's webinar. So Acelab is helping out with hosting today's event. If you signed up for today's webinar, you've got a free Acelab account made for you. I'll share some links to my colleagues' meeting links in the chat if you're interested in scheduling a quick free demo to learn some more beyond what we're going to share with you today. But today I just wanted to show you guys some resources for after today's webinar if you're looking to learn some more about Ballistic Glass and Armor, or if you're looking to get in touch directly with their team. You can always use this search bar at the top here, type in the name of any product, any manufacturer. You can cross-search between product categories, brands, and resources. So just click that brands tab here. You can head on over to their page on Acelab. This is a great place to come and explore some more product information, some general information about the company, and you can use this contact button to get in touch with Hunter directly. So if you've got some follow-up questions after today's event, this is a great place to come and learn some more. You can watch some videos. You can also save their products to your projects, so you can always reference that product information later. So I'll share a link to this in the chat as well. Some other quick things I want to share with you today. If you let us know during today's webinar that you are interested in receiving some follow-up information, we'll go ahead and connect you with the team at Ballistic Glass and Armor for you. You can find your conversations on Acelab by going to the top right here, this little conversation icon. That'll give you an overview of all of the connections that you have on Acelab. You're also going to receive an email anytime you have a new message, so you don't need to check here, but this is a great place to come back and see a record of all of your communication. Last quick thing from me, just want to share some of our newer release tools with you. If you're interested in learning some more, again, keep your eyes tuned for some links in the chat to sign up for a free demo. But today just wanted to give everyone a quick preview of our schedules feature. This is a newer launch, and we're providing early access to some of our webinar attendees and some of our great super users. So if you're interested in getting some early access to these tools, let us know. Basically, this is a really comprehensive way to store your product information, keep it super accessible for your team, keep your rep information stored, pull in data from Acelab's platform, as well as add in your custom data. You can keep your communications stored along with your product data. It's a really great place to come and build out your digital firm library. And our team is on standby to help you with implementing this. So if you're interested in that, feel free to let us know or book a free demo. All right, that is it for me. It looks like we've got a good amount of folks joined already. So without further ado, I would love to pass it over to Hunter. Oh, and actually, before I do that, really quick, just want to encourage folks to submit questions throughout today's presentation. We should have some time to get to those. Just a reminder, the Q&A box is the place to do that. We'll keep an eye on those and we should be able to get to some of them live. All right, now that's it for me. Hunter, thank you so much for joining today. Whenever you're ready,
Thank you, Bo.
go ahead and take it away.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. My name is Hunter Payton. I'm with Ballistic Glass and Armor Solutions in Addison, Texas. I'm Director of Sales for the company, and today we're going to be going over a product we're very excited about, the Defendor. So let me bring up my presentation, and we will get started. One moment. Okay, let's get to the next slide. Okay, so for today's agenda, just a brief overview. We're going to go over market conditions, some information about testing standards, some existing solutions, the Defendor solution, and then just some details about our projects and who we are in general. Okay, so we put this up just to give you an idea of the pace of the increase of violent occurrences in the country. I'm sure no one lives under a rock. Everyone knows that things are getting worse in this fashion, but political polarization, the overall mood of the country, these events are not localized the way they used to be in certain areas. It's not just, government buildings and things like that that are under threat. I mean, a lot of these acts are random, and this just doesn't seem to be slowing down. All right, next slide. So market trends. Being architects and designers, I know you all understand where the commercial space is and where it is going. Open spaces and natural light is what everybody wants. It works well with energy. It works well with overall mood of the occupants, but these are very hard to protect areas. And since glass doors are integral to that, coming up with a solution that works for protection and does not make the facility look like it's protected was where we started when we were trying to come up with the solution of the Defend door. I'm not sure how many of you on this webinar are familiar with the UL 752, but it's the governing standard in this country for ballistic resistance. There was another schedule that used to be used, the NIJ. That's really only for body armor these days. You know, when you're looking at this schedule, I mean, it starts at pistol, ends at very heavy rifle, 50 cal. Where you're going to see most of your clients are able to both afford and, logically get the kind of protection they want into their building, you're going to wind up at level 3, which is 44 Magnum handgun, which is more than enough for most threats. I'd say that better than half of the requests for quotation, what do we see on spec documents, and what the clients themselves are actually asking for is level 3. The takeaway is on this is that you're not trying to build a fortress. When you're doing a ballistic protection application, what you're trying to do is buy time, which buys options. If you create a few minutes window where you keep someone out, whether or not they've been able to shoot through the glass or not, you're going to save lives. So with the expense and the engineering challenges, again, level 3 is generally where this leaves off. So also, when considering a ballistic application for a project, one of the most common questions comes down to low spall versus no spall. For those of you that are not familiar, it has nothing to do with the penetrative capability of the glass in question. Level 3 low spall stops around the same as level 3 no spall. The difference is that surface 2, the secure side of the glass on a no spall application, is not glass. It is an abrasion-resistant polycarbonate. That is valuable in certain circumstances. Guard shacks, transaction windows, any enclosed space where you don't want somebody to be at very, very least horribly disoriented and at very worst, significant damage to their eyes, you need to use a no spall application. However, most ballistic applications that we see are not in that arena. Most of what we see are entryways, doors, things of that nature, where the abrasion-resistant polycarbonate can both be damaged physically and chemically. Anybody that cleans a no-spall piece of glass with Windex or anything else like that risks damaging and virtually destroying that glass, at least from an aesthetic perspective. So again, it depends on the environment, but generally speaking, unless someone's going to be right behind that glass, you want to go with a low spall application. Okay, forced entry. Forced entry testing, I'm sure you all know something about this. ASTM puts forth most of the forced entry tests accepted in the architectural world these days. It has been kind of the Wild West. Some of the older laboratories that are no longer in service, like HP White, some of the other forced entry materials manufacturers have their own standards. The one that we test to, the ASTM F3561, is the newest test that was put forth in 2022 by the National Glass Association and ASTM. The reason they did this, again, is to bring order out of chaos with all of these different forced entry standards. This also takes the human element out of the test, which all of the other ones had. Basically, it's someone swinging something at a piece of glass or a door or what have you. This actually works with a 100-pound pendulum. It's going to hit the same force every time. They start at half a foot and they end at 4 feet, with the last two blows delivering 400 pounds of foot force per strike. So there are 8 levels within the ASTM 3561, and the glass we use in the Defend door tests to level 8. All right, existing solutions. Of course, there are existing solutions. This is not a brand new market segment. But for our purposes, when we were designing the Defend door for a specific use, that being a space that did not want to have an obtrusive look like most ballistic materials do, that's where we started. And so, some of the insufficient protection, that would include security film. They just don't work well, and they're obtrusive. They have a line of 995 around the perimeter. And then, on the right there, you see compromised aesthetics. I mean, that's a beautiful entryway for a normal application. I mean, that works very well for what it's designed to do, but it doesn't work well in every environment, and it isn't Class A. Which brings us to the Defend door. Everything we've gone over so far has kind of led us here. The challenges that the market is facing is what drove us to develop the Defend door, the first purpose-built all-glass level 3 door system. We make that distinction that it's purpose-built because that's what it is. We did not take CRL or any other manufacturer's rails and shoehorn our glass into it. Everything you see in that picture is custom designed and built by Ballistic Glass and Armor Solutions, with the exception of the pulls and the closers in the doors. From how the glass is mounted to the custom pivot to the rails designed to prevent slippage, the entire system has been detail engineered. It's been a labor of love spanning over many years, and we are very proud of this new product. I'm gonna play a video for you now of us testing the door.
Just a quick heads up, Hunter, we're not hearing audio on the video. Sometimes you have to optimize for sound when you share.
Well, all it is, there's
wanted-
no voiceover. It's just
Okay.
music.
Okay,
So we're not missing any content. There is
cool.
another video towards the end that we may skip, that the attendees can watch later, because it is, people talking in that video. But what you're looking at here is the door that was installed in our shop, where we shot it in place, and then we had, we beat on it. This was all the in-house testing we did before we had, external testing done. All right, let's get to the next slide. Okay, so our value proposition. Over the next few slides, we're going to go over the differentiators that set both us as a company and this door apart from the competition. Comprehensive protection. It is what it sounds like. This door was designed to mitigate a number of events, whether it be a shooting, a riot, someone trying to break in, anyone trying to do harm to the occupants or assets on the other side of that door, an entry system that we provide. Whether it's small arms, we're going to stop that. Anyone bringing a large implement, they're not going to be able to beat their way through this door. 9mm is the most commonly used handgun in the country and probably the planet. And this will stop that with no problem. Now, will it stop a rifle round? No. What an AR-15 shoots, a 5.56, but it's going to stay in place. And even after it's been weakened with a bullet going through it, they're still going to have time to evacuate because they are not going to be able to breach that system. Again, these are time buying measures. We are not building a fortress, and that's what needs to come through when you're dealing with clients, because setting that expectation is what sets, a realistic goal for what they're looking at and what they're comfortable with. Class A elegance is really what this door is all about. There are plenty of options on the market for, armored storefront doors, steel doors, even ballistic wooden doors, but those don't deliver the look that you see in this picture. If you want an application that keeps the aesthetic, you're not working in a prison, it looks open, it feels good, and it's easy to use. The people that were in this particular office didn't even know that we had switched out the doors until we told them. Some of the people, obviously some of them knew, but that just goes to show that even though these are 400-pound doors, they pretty much go unnoticed. I also take the opportunity to tell you that these doors come in number 4 brushed stainless typically, but we do have other cladding options available, and we can also do powder coating, which actually gives you a lot larger palette to choose from on color. The door offers a seamless integration into beautiful spaces. Next slide. Okay, back to the effortless operation. It does no good to design a door that has a miserable user experience. That's why we spent the time we did engineering the Defend door to effortless operation with one hand, despite it being over 400 pounds. Again, the door was designed around aesthetics, and that includes how it feels and how it works, all in keeping with the protection that goes unnoticed. And it also is compatible with most all standard door options: ADA, badging, locking, and automatic. Built to last. So that contraption you see running there is what we used to cycle this door over 1 million times. And I can tell you that it did it over 1 million times because that was right outside of my office and I got to hear it doing it. The hardware and glass both carry a industry-leading 5-year warranty for both delamination and defect. We also offer something else that no one else in the business is offering. It's called the Forever Safe warranty. And what the Forever Safe warranty is that if that door or the side light or any part of that assembly is ever shot or beaten, and it's doing its job and keeping people out, if the client comes to us with a police report and some information, detailed information about that, we will replace the door for free once. There are obviously stipulations, but we will replace the door for the client for life. Simple to install, adjust, and maintain. The gentleman in that picture is someone who worked with us over the last couple of years during the development of the Defend door and has been in the door business for over 30 years. He maintains that the Defend door is as easy or easier to install than any glass, just about any glass door on the market. And at 400 pounds, that's hard to believe. But our CEO tested this door. He is not a door guy, putting it up by himself in our shop. Now, he used a cart and he used leverage, but he was able to hang a 400-pound door by himself in an afternoon on a Saturday. So the door itself does not present any kind of installation challenge. Any competent door company or glazer will have absolutely no problem installing these doors. And even an incompetent glazer or door company probably shouldn't have too many. Okay, tax breaks. This is something we offer just, give to our clients across the board. This is the IRS 179. I'm going to keep this short because I am not an accountant, but basically what the IRS 179 is that it offers a first year write down on physical security applications for eligible companies. So if there's a instance where a company is on the fence about being able to spend the money on a project, a security project, this is something that can be given to their leadership and their accounting team, and it may be able that they're able to do the project based on the tax break that they will receive. Let's go on to the next slide. Okay, competitive comparison. This was a hard one to put together because, again, to our knowledge, there is no other door like the Defend door. It's the first all-glass ballistic door of its kind. However, there's one other company that has a door that is similar. The most glaring difference on this is their data sheet says that it's good for 25 to 30 cycles a day. I do that in my office a day. So in a commercial space, that just won't work. And you see over there on the far right at the top, it says 1,000 cycles per day. That's actually low. I mean, like that, we did this about 6,600 times a day, cycling that door 24 hours a day for 8 to 10 months to get over 1 million cycles. So the real competition is a standard glass door, which is somewhat comparable in price if you're buying a high-end door. And it, from what I understood from our door expert, it is no easier to install. In fact, ours is easier to install and maintain. Projects. Okay, so over the next few slides, I'm going to go over some pictures of where we have installed the Defend door and just kind of give you some information while you're looking at these different installation locations. So this is actually the back side of the picture you've already seen of that double door set. As you can see, they chose to put a double auto opener on that. So even at 400 pounds, putting an auto opener on these doors is not a problem. They were able to have the access options they desired, as well as the security they wanted. One other thing I want to note is that everything in this picture, the side lights, the framing, this is all BGAS supplied. We did the glass, we did the framing. The only thing we did not do in here is we didn't supply the auto operators, and we don't do the cladding on our framing after the fact because that's really got to be measured in the field and bought afterwards. But these are different options that we offer. Okay, so this is a picture of the door that was tested. This is the one I was just saying is right outside my office. This is the one that we tested to over 1 million cycles. This is also where we did the ballistic and forced entry test. One of the perks of working in this industry is occasionally you get to do some interesting projects like clearing out the office and doing live fire tests on an existing door hanging in the office. Door held up beautifully. Obviously, we replaced the glass, but this was our prototype, and this is what led us to where we are now. Okay, so this is an example of a 42-inch door. One thing I haven't touched on is the doors come in 42 and 36-inch widths. This is a single, obviously, and we put this in as a 32 because it maintains the ADA compliance. The 36s are either right at or right under what would be considered compliant for ADA. So anytime a client wants to put in a single door, we strongly recommend that they use a 42-inch door. This is just another example of a 42. We put 2 of these up because one of the things that I really want to impart to you guys while we're going over all this is just, again, how seamless this system looks in an existing commercial atmosphere. This doesn't look any different than any kind of all glass door system that we've all been through thousands of times. It just fits right in with the look of these A-space buildings. Okay, here we have another example of a double door set. This is a 6-0 opening. Here I'm going to talk about our height limitations. So we can make the door leaves themselves 108 inches tall, or 9 feet. That does not include the header and the framing above it. So this is a 114-inch high application. So you can see that it's a beautiful double door set with very tall, very beautiful side lights next to them. So we have a pretty large amount of sizing options. And if you wanted, you could put a transom above that as well. This is another example of a 6-0, 8-0 door set. The reason I showcased this one is this client chose to put, obscure film after we'd already put that up. They've got the ballistic and the forced entry protection, but sometimes obscuring what's on the other side also provides security. So that's what they went for. This was, leading into the C-suites in an office. This is actually that same picture, but this was prior to them installing the film. I just wanted to give you an example of the two different looks on the same opening between, the obscured film and just, a regular clear entrance. All right, we're back to our main showcase picture. Again, everything in this picture was supplied by VGS, less the cladding that is on the framing. So again, full service manufacturer for any type of opening of this nature that you guys would need. Okay, so I've had 3 case studies I've listed that we're going to go over in brief, and we'll start now. Okay, so this is a corporate headquarters. It's a very well-known company that is in proximity to where there was a shooting where a disgruntled employee came in and killed several employees as well as the company president. This being a very notable company in the country, as well as having a $10 million painting in their lobby, they went in search of some sort of protective barrier that they could put, into their main areas. And during that discussion, this is basically a museum quality atmosphere. A typical ballistic install just wouldn't do. And not only that, the building owner wouldn't allow that type of application. So this project went in 2 phases. They bought 3 openings. They did, 3 sets of double doors with side lights. They were so pleased with the look and the function that they bought an additional 12 doors, and another 4 sets of doubles, and the rest were singles. But takeaway on that is that this not only functions and looks well, but we had a client that came back to the well after seeing how well it worked and how well it looked. Okay, so this one is a corporate office, but it was a little different angle. So the client on this was actually the building owner. This is an office space that houses, various tech companies, telecom space. And what they were protecting was infrastructure, not personnel. They put this in front of the door to their, critical data center area. And they did that because they wanted their potential tenants to know that their information was safeguarded. And they picked the Defendor because they wanted to maintain the A-space elegant look of their building. So, now this next one is where it all started. This is somewhat of a funny story. So I was approached by as you can expect, the project did not go well. It took us forever to get the doors hung correctly. We just didn't know what we didn't know. we didn't have the right type of pivot system. We didn't have the right type of locking system. Well, they say that failures can lead to great successes. And this one has led us to this refined design of the Defendor, of which we are very proud. So why us? All right, well, let's take a look at the next slide and find out. So Ballistic Glass and Armor Solutions is not the oldest ballistic solutions provider in the country, but we've earned our reputation with timely delivery, quality, and with the advent of the Defendor innovation. We're a full service ballistic glass laminator. We can do everything from 3/8 inch forced entry glass up to level 10. We also offer armored storefront and storefront doors. We do some amount of custom steel work, basically a full range of ballistic products. We've done work all over the country. There's not a lot of ballistic manufacturers in the country. And because of the value of the products, it's not like, having an IG fabricator trying to ship from one side of the country to the other where the products, just blows the cost value. We ship to Alaska, we ship to Maine. It is helpful that we're in the middle of the country in Dallas, Texas, but those things have helped us grow. Over the years, we've done some project at the Florida State Capitol. We hardened the rotunda, looking down on the lawmakers. We're just getting ready to do another project at a Florida State Capitol building with the Defendor. We've done Air Force bases, lots of schools, and everything in between. We started in 2018. We've been growing ever since, and hopefully we'll be growing for years to come. So with that, I thank you for your time. Again, this next video is got sound, so I apologize that it's not working, but if you want, you can go back and watch it later, and it's also available on our website. I'm going to go to this last page, which is a schematic with some basic information on the product, and open it up to any questions.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Hunter. This is a great slide to leave everyone on. We do have a few questions, and reminder for anyone who hasn't submitted one, now is a great time. We've got plenty of time to get to some questions live. Also, if you have a question that is long-winded or you would just like to ask your question out loud, feel free to use the Zoom option to raise your hand. I'll keep my eye on that. We can unmute you. You don't have to turn your video on. But yeah, if you have a longer question, that can be a great way to ask it. All right, so starting off here, does your company also supply the security side lights and storefront panels?
Yes, we do.
All right, awesome.
BGAS started out as a glass fabricator, and that is the majority of our business, and we worked backwards into the hardware side, armored storefront, and then the Defendor. So yes, we supplied the side lights and the framing, but revisit what I was talking about, we don't do the cladding for the framing. That has to be done after the fact.
Mm-hmm. All right, what is the fire rating?
We don't have a fire rating on this door. The fire rated ballistic glass is typically very thick and very heavy, and it's just not something we get asked very often. I mean, there's always the push-pull between the security need and what the fire marshal wants. And so it just really depends on what is the most crucial aspect for the client. And it's really what it boils down to. It's up to them. If they deem that protection is more important than fire rating, then that's what they go with.
Mm-hmm. All right. Is it possible to have a different finish on opposite sides of the door and frame?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, so the rails themselves are actually machined billet. And so what you're looking at is the finished product that has the brake metal over the top of them. So I mean, like, you wanted brushed stainless on the exterior and polished, rubbed bronze on the interior, I don't see a problem with that.
Awesome. All right. Next up, some questions around lead times. What is the general lead time for this product? And if you are doing some custom options, does that shift lead times?
Custom options always will shift lead times. Right now, we're not offering any, the only thing that would be custom in this would be the height of the doors. We're not offering anything but the 36 and the 42, and everything else on these projects. I mean, it's not like I have, a stack of glass outside. I mean, every opening is different. Every, condition is different. So everything is custom. And, on this for the Defend door, we're typically about a 4-week lead time, maybe less, maybe more. The ancillary materials around the Defend door are what's going to drive lead time out. So if you've got 2 sets of double doors, but then you've got, 100 feet of glass, they're large panels that take a long time to fabricate, that's going to draw out the lead time. But if you've just got an opening like the ones we were looking at, 4 weeks.
Awesome. Have you ever used this product in residential applications?
No, but I don't know why it couldn't be used in a residential application. I mean, it's just a matter of weather stripping. I mean, like any other all glass door, I mean, these are not air and watertight, so they'd have to be okay with that, but I don't know why you couldn't do that.
All right, awesome. Do you provide shop drawings showing anchorage details and power supply locations for different wall conditions?
So we would show where the leads for the power supply would come out. We don't get into low voltage. That is up to the client. But yes, shop drawings are a must. Anytime, we'll be given the general scope. I mean, it could be as simple as, Hunter, I've got a 15-foot wide opening that's 10 feet tall. I want 2 side lights and 2 double doors. So we'll get that drawn up. We'll send it out. It'll have detail, and you get the client to okay it. We get a signed drawing. At the point that we get a signed drawing is when we start fabrication.
Awesome. All right. Does the electronic locking system have a fail-safe or fail-secure option, and how does it integrate with fire alarm systems?
Again, I'm not a low voltage guy, so I hate to just not answer, but I don't know how that is. Right now, the doors you saw are using a mag lock, so it does not fail safe unless there's a backup battery. We are working on a new locking system that will fail secure no matter you can set to fail open or fail secure that will it doesn't matter if the power is on or not.
All right, great. Is there a maximum wind load rating for exterior applications?
That is something that I would have to look into. I've never been asked that question, and we'd have to get that engineered.
All right, awesome. Okay, let's see. Awesome. It looks like that may have wrapped up our questions. So we're going to give folks a few more moments to see if any last minute questions come in. And while we're waiting on that, just want to remind everyone to grab any of those links from the chat that might be helpful for you. And that we're also going to have a quick survey, which will show up as you're leaving today's webinar. That's a great place to list any questions that might come up as you're kind of jumping out of today's event, as well as any feedback that you have about how today's webinar went from you. That would be super helpful for us to make sure we're bringing you content that is relevant to you.
And if anybody wants to get more in the weeds about this and talk about it, I know that Bo is going to be supplying my information. I'm happy to discuss with anyone who has questions offline.
Yeah, definitely. And then while we're here also, in case everyone joined a little bit later, we went over this at the beginning, but just want to do a quick recap. I'm going to steal screen share from you for a moment, Hunter. This is one of the links.
Sharing.
Oh, it's okay. I took it over.
Okay.
This is one of the links that we shared in the chat. So just wanted to recap this in case you missed it at the beginning. This is a great place to come after today's webinar. You can use this button to get in touch with Hunter directly, coordinate some questions, talk about your project needs. And then scrolling down here, this is also a great place to come to watch that video that we couldn't watch during today's webinar, as well as explore some more information about Defendor, save it to your project or to your firm library for future reference, access downloads, all of that good stuff. So if you're interested in learning some more, getting in touch with Hunter, this is a great place to come for all those resources. All right. Awesome. Well, it looks like we don't have any further questions, so we
Well, I
can give
thank
everybody some
everyone for
time.
joining us today. Give me the opportunity to showcase our new product, the Vendor, and hopefully we will be talking to you all soon. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
definitely. Thank you everyone in the audience for attending, and thank you so much, Hunter, for a great presentation.
I appreciate it. Thank you all.
All right, have a good one, everybody.